As I was introduced, I'm Marianne Chevlin with the League of Women Voters, and I welcome you all, especially the candidates, to this event. The League of Women Voters hosts forums like this to allow voters to see the candidates and hear them address questions of interest to the public. Our goal is to enable voters to learn about the candidates so that they can make an informed choice. The League of Women Voters never endorses or opposes a candidate or a political party. Just a brief commercial for voting. Returning your ballot is so easy for Californians, either by mail or you can do it in person at a vote center, which you can find online, and it can be any vote center in the county. And be sure to check your registration status. Also, you can do it online. And to get more information about the candidates and the ballot issues and where the money is coming from, check votersedge.org. We'll begin with a forum for the Cupertino Union School District candidates, and that will run about 40 minutes. Following a very brief change to the candidates on the stage, we'll continue with the Fremont Union High School District candidates, and that will run a bit longer. We are not accepting written questions from the audience today. Instead, we solicited questions from the public in advance via email and got a lot. The candidates have agreed to a format and ground rules for today's forum. I will pose questions to the candidates, and each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond. A timer, CD, where's our timer? From the Rotary is going to give candidates visual signals to help them pace their responses. And we very much appreciate our timer keeping us on track. The questions for today's forum were developed by a team of League members based on their own research and questions submitted by the public. The forum today is being recorded by KMVT, which we're very appreciative for that. And the ground rules that all the candidates have agreed to is require that the candidates not use forum recordings for campaign purposes. We also encourage the audience not to record the forum because we want it to be shown in its entirety. We'll tell you how to access the forum video at the end of this program. Finally, we ask the audience to refrain from displays of support or opposition. Please hold your applause until the end of the forum. Now, let's look at the candidates. Candidates, thank you for running for office and for participating in today's forum. We'll start with the CUSD candidates, and 3 of the 5 seats on the Board of Trustees for the Cupertino Union School District are up for election this November. I will call their names in the order in which we would want them to seat. So the first candidate will be Ava Chow. And sitting next to her will be Darcy Paul. And sitting next to Darcy will be Satish. And at the last seat at the end of the table is Jerry Liu. Each candidate will answer all the questions, beginning with the first question. This first question will be a 90-second response time. The other questions will have a 60-second response time. For the first question, we'll start with Ava. And this seating order was determined by a random selection. There's no specific reason for this. For the first question, What qualifies you to be a candidate for the Cupertino Union School District? And you have 90 seconds for your response.
Can I start now? Yes. Okay. Hi there. My name is Ava Chow. I want to thank the Cupertino Chamber of Commerce and the Cupertino Rotary for hosting this forum. I've been teaching nearly 2 decades, and I'm running for Cupertino Union School Board to bring my direct experience with students and classrooms to our school board. As an educator, I have seen how much education is evolving with ongoing changes in our society. Districts need to adapt to these changes and keeping students centered in every decision. We've seen how much the pandemic has upended so much of what we know about public education, and as a teacher, I've had firsthand experience in meeting the changing needs of my students every day. When there are issues that come into the boardroom, I am able to bring classroom and curriculum perspective. I hold a bilingual education credential in Spanish, as well as teaching credentials in science, preschool, and elementary education. I have experience in curriculum development, special education, bilingual education, and child development. I've been at the leadership level mentoring other teachers and working in district level advisory committees. My heart has always been for the students, and educating the next generation is my passion. I know I will bring a perspective to the board that is currently missing, that of a teacher who is in the classroom every day. Thank you.
And Darcy?
Hi, thanks very much. I'm Darcy Paul. I'm a council member in Cupertino and have been since the end of 2014. I'm currently serving as the mayor of Cupertino, and I thank the Rotary Club of Cupertino as well as the Cupertino Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event, and thank you to the League of Women Voters of Cupertino Sunnyvale for organizing and monitoring this event as well. One thing I wanted to share with everyone, this morning I had the pleasure and privilege of dropping off my kids to school. And as I was taking them to the playground, I was looking at them in the sea of students and having a little bit of time, a little bit of trouble finding my kids there. But I did manage to wave to each of them.
Excuse me, Darcy, I'm sorry, but apparently your mic is not working.
My microphone? So should I start over with my answer?
Please start.
Okay, all right. Very good. So do I get extra time or do I, okay. 90 seconds, okay.
60 seconds, or 90 seconds.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and start here. Hi, I'm Darcy Paul. I'm a council member in Cupertino since the end of 2014. I'm also the current mayor of Cupertino and was also selected by my fellow council to be mayor in 2018 and 2021 as well. I'm very thankful for the Cupertino Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Cupertino Rotary Club and the League of Women Voters of Cupertino Sunnyvale for hosting this event. I wanted to share with you the fact that I dropped off my kids in school today, and it was such a pleasure to be able to wave goodbye to them. And what I realized is that with regard to being able to provide that perspective on the school board, that is critically important. If I'm not elected in this upcoming election, then there will be no parents of any current school district students on the school board. And I think that is just a critically important perspective to have. And the reason why I think that is so critically important is that this ultimately is an educational service. And so if you don't have any parents representing the perspective of parents as well as people that are receiving the services, then personally I think you have a bit of an issue with regard to the perspectives. I was the sitting Chamber of Commerce president at the time that I ran in 2014, but if you've been following the news and the goings-on in Cupertino, you'll see that I don't give anyone a free pass. And I think that with regard to making the jurisdiction better and being able to be more communicative, you need people like that on your board as well. Thanks very much for having me.
Satish?
Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Rotary. Thank you, Chambers. Thank you, League. It's a great opportunity, and thanks for inviting us. I got elected in 2018 to Cupertino School Board, and currently I'm the president of the school board. I've been associated to the school and the community last 17 years. 2 of my kids graduated from Cupertino Union School District, both elementary and the middle. Prior to joining the board, I was very active in PTAs. I was assuming a lot of PTA leadership roles. I was a PTA president of the elementary school, the vice president of the middle school, and I was the PTA president of our high school, Monta Vista High School. And I was the vice president in Cupertino, Sunnyvale, Fremont Council PTA. I was part of the executive board of 6th District PTA. In addition to that, and my passion has been always for the kids, school, and youth. So I'm, as part of it, I involved in, the youth soccer activities, and I'm the regional commissioner for American Youth Soccer Organization, and it's a nonprofit to support youth activities. I want to continue with my passion on students, schools, and make our schools great. Thank you.
And Jerry, thank you.
All right, thank you. So thank you all for having me here today. My name's Jerry Liu, and I'm running for re-election to the CUSD School Board. My qualifications for the position can be summarized by one word: experience. So first, I have personal experience with our schools, staff, and students. I'm a father of 2 daughters who have spent over a decade in CUSD schools, and I was an active volunteer in the district for many years prior to being elected to the board. I've helped in the classrooms, I've organized fundraisers, I've chaired school site councils, I've served as PTA president. I understand what our community needs from our schools. Second, I have professional experience in managing complex organizations. In my day job, I run an engineering organization that spans 4 continents with different levels of management reporting to me. I know that the pitfalls and the tips in aligning an organization to get things done. Third, I have experience in governing our school district. Since I've joined the board, I've spent literally hundreds of hours in public meetings, in my own private time, poring over reports and talking to people. I have a deep understanding of district operations, and I think this is particularly important as we help students and staff transition away from the pandemic and as we go into a new funding model over the next couple of years. So in summary, I have the personal experience with the needs of our students. I have the management experience in overseeing complex organizations, and I have the policy setting making experience in governing our school district. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is, what do you see as the priority issues to address as a school board member? And we'll start that question out with Darcy.
Thank you very much. The biggest priority issue that I see in the Cupertino Union is that we have to fix the way that we are communicating with our district. There are a couple of pieces of evidence that the district constituents are not supportive of the school board. One is the fact that we haven't been able to go ahead and pass parcel tax measures when we asked the constituents for financial support. Now, some people say that, well, perhaps it's the constituency base, but then if you look at the Foothill De Anza College bond measure that passed recently, that was far in excess of what Cupertino Union was trying to raise. I think that if you look at the fact that school closures occurred during the pandemic, that it was a worldwide traumatic event, that we didn't need to be considering those closures at the time, that right now financially we are in a perfectly fine situation to not have been required to close those schools had we simply waited for the conversation. That in itself should tell you that we need to go ahead and reset that type of conversation with our constituency. Thank you.
Thank you. And Satish?
Yeah, I strongly believe in the collaboration. I think what we need here, and district is doing a lot of good things. At the same time, I think we need to have our community engaged. We need to have a great partnership with the community. And my strong belief is that the school will be successful when the community, the families, the parents, and the educators join together. I think if we do that very well, we can run a good district. We need to build that trust. We need to have a very good, it's not that we are not doing communication. We need to have a better communication, and we can definitely build that trust, and that's the most important thing. Thank you.
And Jerry?
All right, thank you. So I certainly agree with my colleagues here that community engagement, community support are important things for the next board to work on. But for me, what I see is the key issue for the next board is managing the changes that are coming in the next couple of years. And there are two parts here. The first one is around tactical. As we're recovering from the pandemic, what we're seeing is that the academic performance has come back, but not completely. We're seeing that students need social emotional support. And so I think one of the things the next board's gonna really have to focus on is how do we make that transition as we get out of the pandemic back into normalcy. The second transition the next board's gonna have to work on is a more strategic one around as we transition from a LCFF funding model where our revenue is a function of the number of students, which is going down, to one where the revenue is actually based on property tax, which is going up. So we're gonna have to change the mindset from how do we survive to how do we thrive, and thinking about where we make the investments to do the most for our students. Thank you.
And Ava.
As a teacher, ensuring that student well-being is at the forefront of every board decision. I want to make sure that the student's success is about ensuring the balance between academics and nurturing skills to help develop the whole child. Ensuring that data is transparent and drives our district's financial sustainability. We know that the school funding for CUSD will continue to be a challenge as they are switching between two models of funding from LCFF to basic aid. I want to make sure our communities stay informed and engaged through this process. Ensuring that CUSD continues to provide the highest quality education and to all students across the district. My goal for our communities always be confident and proud of our district, schools, students, and staff. Thank you.
And our next question, how can communications be improved between the district and the communities it serves? And we'll start off with Satish.
I think it's a great question. I think communication is very, very critical. And communication is happening. It's not that, I think, it's not that communication is not happening. The communication, how will we make it more effective? Right? There are ways and means now. It's, like last few years, if you take it, we have been improving tremendously on that. And there are tools now which is being implemented, actually. There are, the periodic communications to the parents, periodic communication to the community, it's coming over mail. And now, over and above, now we have started, actually, when we are in the board, now, the office hours, actually, office hours with the community members, office hours with the staff, and office hours with the stakeholders. And that's one other way for us. In addition to that, town hall meetings and other things like, which definitely is a way for us to be connecting. And partnering with them for every event and wherever, making them much more confidence or building the confidence in that. Thank you.
Jerry?
And thank you. So certainly over the last 4 years, we've done a lot to improve the communications. We've revamped our website. We are doing board office hours. We're sending out regular communications to the parents and all that. But I think I want to maybe up-level this question a little bit, and really about, I think it's more than just communication and about engagement. How do we engage the community more? And I think part of this is what I would advocate for is a more frequent polling of our community on the issues that matter to them. We do surveys with the parents, and in the latest survey, only about half of the parents felt like they were engaged, their inputs mattered in district level decisions, and we want to do more there. And I think another part it's not just about communication, but really taking action. I think no one's interested in communicating a whole lot if things aren't actually done. And so I think this is the other thing that I think the next board really should focus on is really listening to folks with authenticity, with empathy, but also taking action. Thank you.
And Ava?
I have been door knocking on the weekends and whenever I can when I get home from school. I've been talking to voters and parents wanting to know what's going on in the classroom. In general, voters tell me that the district-wide communication has improved, but what they really want is more information about the classroom. Communication coming from the teachers is more meaningful as they are the ones day in and day out with our students. Coming from the pandemic, the parents got used to listening to the daily teachings. They would like to know what unit is coming up, what's going on. This can be like an exciting science experiment or upcoming theme for their reading. So it's just to give an idea to help prompt our students to have meaningful conversations at home or simply support our students at home. Thanks.
Thank you. Darcy?
Okay, to have a successful district through communication, I can think of 4 things. First, honesty. Don't tell people that you want one thing, but behind closed doors actually means something else. So if you want bigger class sizes, tell them that you want bigger class sizes because you want to pay your teachers more. If you want smaller class sizes, then be willing to make those sacrifices in order to make those class sizes small. Be honest. Second, no preset decisions. This is a very intelligent electorate. Do not make preset decisions and then try to maneuver your pieces such that those decisions are going and funneling towards a particular area. That insults people. Third, compassion. I talked about talking about closed schools in the middle of the pandemic. Also, when you're having one of these sessions talking about whether we bring our kids back to school, when some teachers are saying, we're not your kids' babysitters, talk to them, okay? There's a particular perception that comes from the parents of people that are having kids in school, effectively in their homes, and two working parents. Civics, we have to have a sense of civics. It's not expensive. You can just have people pick up litter throughout your area, throughout your schools. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Our next question, what are you proud of about the CUSD district? Jerry, starting with you.
Sure. I think one of the things I'm really happy that we were able to do the last couple of years is make much better use of data in this district decision-making and student learning. So before, y'all probably know about these sort of CASP achievement tests, and we get those results once a year, and they usually takes a couple of weeks to come in, a couple of months to come in. What we've done is we've basically now integrated data collection much more closely into academic learning, both in academics with something called iReady, something with Panorama, where we survey the students on how they feel. And this enables us towards one of our key initiatives, which is personalized learning, that we believe in tailoring instruction to fit the needs of the students rather than just everybody having a factory-driven approach. And so what I'm really happy about is being able to collect data. I have one principal tell me that they administer the assessments in the morning, and he was able to see the results in the afternoon. That really allows us to close the loop and help the students. Thank you.
Ava.
CUSD has a long-standing history of providing excellence in academics and holistic education for all students. The most recent test scores from the last school board meeting shows that students are recovering coming out of the pandemic through their hard work happening in the classrooms. There's a strong commitment to helping students recover and achieve and even surpass state standards. However, for growth, I say student nutrition and cafeteria open offerings. Cupertino is looking to shift into more cooking from scratch, which is successful, which is wonderful for our students. Food is healthier and fresher for our students, but there's substantial facilities and equipment needs. So it will be a priority to see how our district can increase its capacity to serve and increase the student demand, and now that we have universal meals. The district's nutritional program needs a lot more support and investment to increase capacity. Thanks.
Darcy?
Hold on, let me keep a quick time. Thank you. I'm proud of 3 things. I'm proud of public schools in general. I'm a product of public schools. I went to public schools K through 12, where I grew up in the Midwest, even though I went to a private school as a graduate of Harvard College and Harvard Law School. But I send my kids to the public schools. So I think that's the strongest point that can be said with regard to really believing in them. I didn't agree with the decision to take the Cupertino language immersion program out of a neighborhood school. I think it's good to have a bit more integration in a program like that so that the kids grow up more well-rounded. But I respect process. I respect the idea that other people, after making these public input decisions, make their decisions. The third thing I'm proud of is the fact that we have a very tightly knit community. I can pick up the phone, I can talk to the school superintendent and say, hey, look, I'm having an event about augmented reality. Can you invite your kids? And so I'm really proud of those tightly knit interconnections in the district. Thanks.
Satish?
Yeah. Definitely, I'm proud of like what education, what we offer, right? Cupertino, some of my colleagues said that it's a great place for education. That's why even I myself moved into this place for getting a good education for my kids. And so we have been doing that a great job in that, and constantly looking to the curriculum improvement across. And the CAST results and other things, if you look into the test results, it's pretty good from that point. And we were able to, actually we had very difficult year, the pandemic thing, and we were able to bring kids back, teachers back, and almost like if you go to any place now, any school if you go now, you can see it's normal like how it used to be. So that's a great achievement. And so pretty much I think this is all I have to say, that the focus is back and we are working on getting things better.
Okay, thank you. Our next question, how would you address the mental health needs in CUSD students and teachers? And let's start that one with Ava.
Okay, so there's been a concern that students have been struggling with learning loss and mental health and well-being as part of the pandemic. As a teacher, I definitely saw that last year, and I still see that this year in the classroom. With all my mentoring experience in schools, I know what it takes to help students move forward with academic recovery, social emotional well-being, and resilience. COVID was a horrible pandemic. All of us, from students to adults, have suffered. We had a quarantine, which is not normal, and we are human beings that need that social interaction. Our students need support to continue to succeed. This means that to make sure they have strong sense of belonging from the community and a space for them to positively grow into who they are. If students feel safe at school, as a teacher, I've seen them perform academically exceptionally well. I have been attending CUSD board meetings for years, and from recent board meetings, there are some good improvements for many students a year out. Thank you.
Darcy?
I trust the experts and the professionals, and so I'm going to go ahead and stipulate that there are some really excellent things that are being done and supported. At the same time, however, I've been with this issue for a number of years. About 7 years ago, there was declared an epidemic of suicides in the Palo Alto area for students, and I thought about what makes this community different. That was not happening here in Cupertino. What can we be doing to try to make sure that we have this kind of community where, yes, there are stressors, but how do we try to amplify the fact that we're not putting that kind of an amount of stress on our students? And that's when we started a mental health event in Cupertino known as Bobatino. It doesn't sound like it from the title at all, but you take an event where kids are really interested in, getting boba, for instance, and you tent. You table with all sorts of mental health advocacy groups and support. And so I think what we can do to supplement from the board perspective is to think about the community and supplement the work of the experts and professionals. Thanks.
Satish?
Yeah, I think one of the goals actually is the whole student, right? Like making a child fully successful. For that, like as I think Jerry said long time back about the personalized learning and stuff like that, right? So we need support on that, and definitely social emotional side we need to definitely focus a lot, and mental health is definitely an important thing, and overall making a child fully successful. I think that's the kind of the requirement, and that's the thing which we have to be looking for.
Jerry?
All right, thank you. So first, I'll just acknowledge that we do need to provide a social emotional support for our students and staff. So in our latest panorama survey, for instance, only I think less than half of the middle school students reported a feeling like they belong, right? And when we talk to the teachers, there's a lot of reports of being exhausted and tired from all the extra burden that's been put on them. So this is what I would do. I think first of all, provide more counselors and social emotional learning resources at the schools, and provide more club activities so the students have now having opportunities to work on projects and engage with their peers. In terms of for the teachers, I think one thing we really need to do is look at the balance of workload with the time they have, providing them with more tools to sort of take the loads off for them. And then one of the things that we've done over the last couple of years is we've removed instruction aids from the classrooms. And I like to really, as we have more money, thinking about putting them back to make things easier for the teachers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, What specific strategies can be used to engage all stakeholders to support the CUSD strategic plan? And we'll start that with Darcy.
Thank you very much. I think with regard to engaging more of the stakeholders, it will be good to be able to have these various community events to make sure that there is good communication and good engagement, good buy-in into the work of CUSD. One of the things that I've been attempting to do with my campaign is to go ahead and see, and this is an extension of work on council, to see what we can be doing to get more civic engagement within not just the general population, but within the student population. And so one of the first weekends, we held a litter pickup in Cupertino Union School District. I think when you're thinking about these various things, about stakeholders, you can actually amplify this to be much more broad-based with regard to the various parts of your community as well. So that's just one idea, and I think that you can actually go ahead and take all sorts of events and have these meetings where you're active and you're civic and you're involved. Thanks very much.
Satish.
Communication and engagement are the two key things, right? So that's very, I think we talked about that in the previous questions, that we need to continuously work on getting the communication across. We need to make sure that, like, not that what we talk, what others are hearing is important. That's very, very important. We do a lot of communication. Did they hear it properly? I think we have to make sure it's reaching out properly. Second thing is the stakeholder engagement. That's very, very key. And have participation wherever possible. Get their ideas in. And not necessarily all the ideas may be right, but see that what we can work together and get into a common ground. The third thing is, like, again, the participation part of it. Like, make sure that as many people as possible in any of the task forces and things like that from the community and the parent community specifically, right? So that the trust can be made and we can work together on that. Thanks.
Jerry.
Thank you. I think the first part in building support for the strategic plan is to tell people about it. I don't know, I'm guessing probably not that many of you out there know what our strategic plan is. So there are three parts to it. The first is about relevant and rigorous instruction. It's about teaching the kids how to learn and take ownership for their learning. The second part is personalized learning. Like I mentioned earlier, tailoring the instructions for the needs of the individual learners, using data to drive planning. And the third is a focus on the whole child, the recognition that success isn't just about academics. I think that what we need to, and we've been doing this for the couple of years here, there's been actually good success, and I think we need to, very first, get the word out, show the proof points where we've been able to, show some success in both in our, the achievements. So for instance, looking at the science CAP scores, we've actually surpassed what it was in pre-pandemic days. And the third is to continue to take action. Thank you.
Ava.
I would listen. I have been listening as I go door knocking for the last 4 months. Our society is divided because the pandemic has left us so isolated. With schools open again, we have returned to normalcy and to create more opportunities to engage with schools. We need to put in a concerted effort and really hear what the community have to say. Since the school has started this fall, I've attended quite a few events, and it's been great to see the excitement on campus. Everyone is happy to be back together again. We need more of that. I noticed CUSD is so large with 6 cities and 23 schools. It's hard to feel like we're one district. If the district can create more opportunities for the community to come together, then we can share maybe best practices and be part of the vision for the future to be good. I've organized science competitions and been a judge, so I could see creating more opportunities for connection and larger sense of belonging between schools and organizing district-wide science fair as greatest thing for engagement. Thank you.
Okay, our next question. What is your perception of the impact of the digital divide and economic equity for CUSD students? Starting with Satish, okay. What is your perception of the impact of the digital divide and economic equity for CUSD students?
So I think definitely to run an organization, right? We need at least the right support from the financial perspective, right? So I think our prime job here is, or as a district, as an education organization, is to provide the best education, and to make sure that we have the right infrastructure around that. So we need to, if you take it like we need to have sufficient money to make sure that they are getting that prime objective. And our strategic plan needs quite a lot of support from the financial perspective as well. We need to retain good teachers. We need to make sure that we have the right support infrastructure, support staff, administrators, and everything. So I think my view here is that we have to balance it right way, the financial part of it, and that will help us to the prime objective of providing what is our fundamental the objective of giving education to the kids.
Thank you. Jerry?
Thank you. When it comes to digital tools, my motto is there are really three components. There's a hardware, there's a software, and then there's a know-how. In terms of hardware, I think we do a really good job here. We own about 11,000 iPads and about 3,000 Chromebooks, and so it's at a point where we can provide devices for every student. But then when it comes to software, I think we also have common software that's used. I think we can strengthen that. What I'm finding when I talk to the teachers is a lot of the software, sort of what to use, are sort of pass word of mouth. And I think that's one area where we can provide more support for the teachers to share their learnings. But I think where we can make the biggest impact is in parent education and how to use these devices. And I think right now, a lot of this is left to the homes, and if you happen to have someone in your family who's tech savvy, you're probably gonna get a lot more out of these devices than someone that isn't. And so that's the area where I think I would invest in to address the digital divide issue. Thank you.
And Ava?
The digital divide issue goes beyond the schools, and I think having a partnership and working with the cities in which, the 6 cities in which CUSD is part of, is to provide internet to our members, and that in education, internet is very important, as we all saw during the pandemic. And then in the classrooms, we do have apps that we rely on the internet, and it is a very vital part of our lives. And so ensuring that our students have access to the internet, and then addressing the economic hardships. Our schools are community schools. We're public community schools, and they should be the hub in which we should provide resources and connect our families to nonprofits to help them if they are having economic hardships in whichever way that they choose to be. And that we need to, and that is what schools are, community schools. Thank you.
Darcy?
The digital divide and economic equity, those are not difficult things to figure out, okay? This is what you need to do. So with regard to trying to figure out from the perspective of what I've done in the past, I've alluded to an augmented reality workshop. The augmented reality workshop was something that we brought forward at De Anza College, and we opened it up to all age groups. We opened it up to all socioeconomic classes. This is not difficult to do. This is about outreach. It's about picking up the phone, talking to big brothers, big sisters, the NAACP, and basically saying, look, we want to interconnect. And so if you want to solve these digital divide problems, I've been very familiar with this ever since I was editor-in-chief of a journal of law and technology over in my law school. This is the sort of thing where you have to put your brain power into it and do a little bit of elbow grease. And then basically you have ripple effects with regard to communicating to the outside world. We care, there's compassion. Ultimately, if you do these types of things and they're writ large, you will be able to bridge this digital divide, have economic equality, go through all age groups, and have that improvement throughout the entire system. Thanks very much.
Okay. Now, who do you identify as CUSD stakeholders? And how do you see your responsibility to represent them all as a school board member?
Thank
Jerry?
you. Sure. So certainly, this is the district is a complex ecosystem. We have over 13,000 students. We have over 1,000 FTEs. I think certainly one stakeholder group, and in my mind, the main one are the students. This district exists for them. And so to the extent that we have a strategic plan where we lay out a vision, we basically sort of support that and make sure that students are provided with instruction that's tailored to their needs. But we also have staff, certainly the teachers, the staff that make up that work in the district, and I think this is something that's very important to me, that we provide the kind of support, professional development, competitive pay, so that they can thrive. And I think overall, in a sort of a larger sense, is the overall community. Even if you don't have kids in the district, our schools are sort of the foundation of a lot of the community, and they're important also. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ava?
The stakeholders, being a school board member, it's wonderful about like the public school board members. They're elected to the public, which ensures democracy. And part of the main job of being a school board member is that we are advocates for our community. And as a teacher, it's about caring for the students. Students have been my focus for 19 years. I get to advocate for the students at the policy level. And being a community member, that means you're the voice of the community to the school board room. That also requires listening. I will ensure that the district is accountable. So working with the district, working with the families, and also community members. And those community members include business members as well. So staff members, not just the teachers, all other staff with CSEA and SEIU. So those are the stakeholders, the community, the city. It includes the 5 other cities, Cupertino, Los Altos, and Saratoga. My time is up. Thank you.
Darcy?
This is a super straightforward question. I'll tell you about an epiphany I had about 5 years ago. It was the year before I became mayor for the first time. I was sitting on the dais in Cupertino Community Hall, and what I realized is that I'm accountable to voters. I'm accountable to the people that put me into office. That's your primary stakeholder. As an elected official, you are accountable to those voters. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have other factors. That doesn't mean that you don't have the business community. That doesn't mean that you don't have unions representing your employees. But if you realize first and foremost that you as an elected official representing the people that voted you in are accountable to those voters, then that really crystallizes your action. And so with regard to being able to, for example, speak to the employees, okay, one of the things that I did as a Cupertino City Council member was I made sure that we didn't have this overwrought, expensive city hall being built, because I knew that we needed to have the money for these types of things that we approved this year. We gave substantial bonuses to our employees because of gas and recession costs. So those are the types of decisions that you make, and everyone can benefit if you understand who your stakeholders are. Thanks very much.
Satish?
Students are the it's all for students, right? So students, parents, the community members, then the teachers, non-teaching staff, the administration. And these are actually the key stakeholders, right? And as I told, like, as I was mentioning that, we have to work together. All these things to be together, like, whether it's teachers, supporting staff, and the community, and their common goal should be for making our students the best. It's all for the students, right? So these are the stakeholders, and their collaboration is critical.
Thank you. And now we'll turn to a question that we gave the candidates prior to the forum, to give them an opportunity to comment on something that we had not asked them about during the forum. So, would you please state and answer a question that you wish you had been asked during this forum? And we'll start with Satish.
Okay, so my question, or I would have really wished that, why you should vote for me, okay? So I bring, I think in my introduction itself, I bring a lot of, a wealth of experience actually as a classroom volunteer, as a school volunteer, as a community volunteer, as a school board member, and as a school board president right now. And my way of working is to, work with everybody, try to understand the problem, and come up with an amicable solution. And I'm an engineer by profession. I bring a lot of industry experience as well, and analytical skills and problem-solving skills. And I can understand really a problem, how a parent would feel when there is something happen in the school, and I can act from their end, and I can work in the other side as well. So I think with my experience and my, the willingness and my dedication, I can be a very effective board member. And I've been demonstrating that, and my first priority would be always keeping students first. So please vote for me.
Now, this question, they should have 90 seconds for their response. For this question, they should have 90 seconds to respond.
That's fine. I think I communicated. I don't want another 30 seconds. I think my message is very clear. Okay, just I'll finish that. I think I have commitment, I have energy, I have passion, and I have been demonstrating that last 17 years in this community and the school district. And I'm very sure I can be a very effective board member. Thank you.
Okay. Ava, your response. What question do you wish you had been asked, and how would you respond in 90
I wish
seconds?
that you had asked me who was my inspiration and what brought me here today. My inspiration was my Nai, Grandma. She was my first teacher. Everything who I am, giving grace, helping students where they're at, pushing students to where they can be, and this is how I am as a teacher and how I will be a school board member. I get that from her. My heart is for the students. I want to bring that experience into the boardroom. I'm Ava Chow. I'm running for the Cupertino Union School Board. I'm the first name on the ballot. I am the only teacher on the ballot. Thank you. Gracias. Shishiniman.
Thank you. Darcy?
I wish that we would have been asked, what's the most important trait of an elected official? And in my opinion, the most important trait of an elected official is to have integrity. There are a number of things that derive from integrity, such as honesty and a sense of fairness. But with respect to being able to discharge the values of our democratic system, in my opinion, there's no point in undertaking what we're undertaking if our elected officials don't have integrity. Because if, for example, we are trying to understand where all the influences come from, then we need to have open disclosure. If we don't have that, then we might as well just have a more efficient and effective method of going about having our conversations and making our decisions. However, if we have integrity about this, if we put on the table what is influencing us, then we will be able to really understand what all the various factors are. So I'm not opposed to things, but having integrity really means that you have to stand up at those points where you're hearing input and you're consolidating that input from the constituency and you're saying this is the right thing to do. Or, for example, my opinion in this kind of situation is that there is an undue amount of influence and it's being misdirected with regard to what the electorate is being informed about. That's what integrity means to me. But I think that's the most important thing, because that, if people adopt that, this can be the best possible system that there is. So thanks very much, and I appreciate your vote. I'm number 2 on the ballot.
Jerry?
Hey, thank you. My question is also, why should voters vote for you? CUSD has been the biggest part of my life for over a decade, outside my family and my career. It hasn't always been easy, but I've always known that I'm contributing something important to the community. When I took office 4 years ago, the conversations were about what cuts we needed to make to stave off insolvency. Now the conversation can be about what investments we want to make to do more for the students. I want to help write the next chapter in this CUSD story, because even though we still face challenges ahead, I'm very excited about our future. I'll bring to the next board a deep understanding of district operations and my own personal experience as a CUSD parent. I work well with the board, I work well with the superintendent, I work well with the community. And I help contribute to the strategic plan that we're executing on now. My actions on the board have been and always will be very predictable. I'm here to advocate for the students, not special interests. And I set policy based on data, not ideology. And in the same way that we believe in tailoring instruction to fit the needs of the students, I believe in tailoring our schools to fit the needs of the community, not the other way around. I'm honored to be endorsed by Congressman Rocana, State Senator Dave Cortese, Assemblymember Evan Lowe, and the Cupertino chapter of the California School Employees Association, here to ask for your support for my candidacy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, candidates. And we'll applaud for them after the end of the forum. And now we will open the stage to the Fremont Union High School District candidates and have you guys really.
Thank you.
Well, and there's a woman who is recording this whole thing. I'm going to say something. Excuse me. Are you did you record this? We asked you not. We asked it not. As candidates for the Fremont Union High School District, we really appreciate the fact that you are candidates and that you have taken the time both to be candidates as well as to be here today. Voters in this district may vote for 3 of these 5 candidates. The 3 that get the most votes in November will be elected to the school board. The candidates have agreed to format and ground rules for today's forum. I will pose the questions as we did earlier for CUSD, and each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond, except for the first and last question, for which they will have 90 seconds to respond. Thank you all again for running. For the first question, you'll have 90 seconds to respond. What makes you qualified to be a candidate for the Fremont Union High School District? And we will start with Naomi.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much to the Rotary Club of Cupertino, the Chamber of Commerce, and to the League of Women Voters. I want to say it's nice to be back home in Cupertino. I've said it before, Cupertino is like my second home. I grew up here professionally, having run West Valley Community Services for 10 years, and nice to see so many of you that I know. I think that I have the breadth and depth to be qualified to be re-elected to the Fremont Union High School District Board. I am a student advocate and a public education advocate, and I'm invested in students. I'm a parent of 3 FUHSD graduates, and so is my husband, a graduate of FUHSD. Currently, I'm on the governing board and serve as president, and I've held every position within the school board. This year, I led the superintendent search and also worked on some contracting principles review. I've been a classroom volunteer since my children were in preschool and have worked as a volunteer in the schools all the way into high school. I've been on school site council. I've been a PTSA volunteer. I've chaired special committees on the PTA. I've been on fundraising for the middle school, and I've been parliamentarian and other areas of the PTSA and have gotten an award from them. I've been a school social worker in the public schools. I participated in leadership programs, and I've also brought to, when I worked at Santa Clara University, the Markula Center for Excellence in Applied Ethics, I brought the Standards of Excellence program to Santa Clara University, looking at nonprofit ethics and excellence. And even though, thank you.
Linda? We seem to have a problem with the mic.
Oh, now you can hear me. Thank you. I'm Linda Price, and first and foremost, I am passionate about excellent education and providing the best opportunities for the students to succeed. And now, competition to get into college is greater today than ever before, and my background includes, to assist that, my background includes working for a number of high-tech companies in the area of human resource management as a director, a college recruiter, employee trainer, mentor, mediator, and coach. For 9 years, I was the education officer at the Satellite Test Center. It was on Azuka Air Force Base. I have run my own company, Professional Dynamics International. We travel worldwide providing management, leadership, team building, and communication, training, and coaching to high-tech companies. Additionally, over the past 30 years, I have taught in 8 colleges and universities and adult ed. I have a BS from University of San Francisco, a master's from Redlands, and I have a teaching credential from UC Berkeley. I'm a certified community mediator, a credentialed coach, and a certified hypnotherapist. I have worked with students for many years in the academic and professional settings, and I see that the skills are needed to succeed in college and the workforce, and I believe I have those tools to help that. Thank you.
Andrew.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity, and I greatly appreciate it. First and foremost, I love the Fremont Union High School District, and I really care that each and every student in the district reaches their full potential. Thankfully, I've had the wonderful opportunity of helping hundreds of high school students get their degrees and into the college of their choice. I have coached at Homestead High School, Monte Vista, Saratoga, Archbishop Mitty, and for the Junior Olympics. I have also coached at Stanford University for the Stanford Nike camps. Gratefully, at Homestead, I was awarded Coach of the Year. At Saratoga, I was awarded the Red Pride Service Award for loyal service to the school and to the students. At Monte Vista, I was awarded the Excellence in Coaching Award. Also, I've had the amazing opportunity to have coached and worked with Olympians, NCAA champions, and Pac-12 champions, and with some of the most accomplished high school students in the country and in the world. I have a degree in physical education, played college football, and frequently made the dean's list for academics. I'm married and I have 3 kids. My youngest daughter graduated from Archbishop Mitty High School and is currently a junior at UCLA. Go Bruins. My sister and my 2 older brothers and I all graduated from Cupertino High School. My family moved here in 1960 and we've been here since. I'm a professional actor and a member of the Screen Actors Guild, and I currently serve on one of the national committees. Years ago, I was a successful loan officer and had a California real estate license during that time. I have held multiple leadership positions throughout my life, and I thank you for being here, and thank you for your consideration.
Stanley.
First of all, thanks to Rotary Club of Cupertino, Chamber of Commerce, and the League of Women. My name is Stanley Cole, spelled with a K-O-U, and here is my mom's last name is K-U-O, but I will greatly appreciate it if you vote for Cole, K-O-U. As a 26th resident of Cupertino, I have a deep appreciation for how the excellent schools of the Fremont Union High School District make our community attractive today and provide a foundation for our future in an increasingly competitive world. I have 2 adult children who were born and grew up in Cupertino and benefit from our local schools. As a principal of a heritage school, teacher, and a volunteer, I have gained the skills needed to guide the Fremont Union High School District in the coming years. Specific experiences include teacher, principal, chairman of the Heritage School Board, Fremont Union High School District Adult School Chinese Teaching, a volunteer, president of a PTA, School Site Council, and the Education Enrichment Fund. The Fremont Union High School District has a great reputation for its schools and the excellent education program. As a school board member, I will focus on ensuring its reputation and program stay solid. Teachers are one of the most valuable assets and partners, and I will work to make sure they are well supported. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosa?
Hello, everyone. My name is Rosa Kim. First of all, thank you so much to Cupertino Rotary Club and Cupertino Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity. I came to the U.S. when I was about 30 years old with my 13-month-old daughter and husband. Schools were the place I engaged in the community as an immigrant parent. A few years after moving here, I started working as a teacher at a local language school and became principal with the goal of educating our children about their culture. For the past 4 years, as your high school board member, supporting diverse student groups has been a priority for me. And I have been committed to representing their voices in the competitive Silicon Valley school environment. I am determined to continue to support students and families from diverse cultures, drawing on my own experience to help me be a better listener and a public servant in this community. I want to help our students to take pride in their culture and turn this into their strength. I will utilize my 4 years experience on the board to help make the district a more inclusive and welcoming place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question, how do you see your role as a school board trustee? And we'll start with Linda.
My role as a school board trustee is almost like that of the board of directors to a large corporation. You've got your board, and then you've got your schools out there. And what we would do as a board member is, of course, look at we have a huge fiduciary responsibility, looking at the expenditures and seeing how they can be spent wisely to further the education and the excellence that's already going on in the schools now. We would be in an advisory capacity to the school board, school superintendent and the staff, and also be a listening board for the parents and the students in the community, listening to the concerns and taking them under advisement and see what we could do to assist them in taking care of any issues that would come up. Thank you.
Andrew?
Well, as a school board, I see it this way. We set the pace. We set the pace for the schools that are in our district. And we also help with that policy that we're going to set to help get the schools to where we want them to be, thus helping the kids getting to where they want to be. First and foremost, we represent the voters, and they were kind enough to elect us. We need to make sure that we acknowledge that and that we remember why they voted us in. We have to have great integrity. We need to be honest. We need to do always what's right for the kids. It's all about the kids and them reaching their full potential. That's the bottom line. And we need and as a school board, we need to hold the teachers, the coaches, the administration accountable in achieving that goal. Thank you.
Stanley?
Thank you. As a board member's responsibility, the first thing comes out of my mind is equity. And we want to put the students first and supporting our staff and our community equally. And secondly, it's physical accountability, that we want to make sure we have a healthy and well-balanced budget for our school and using for our students. And then third is excellent programs. We want to maintain our current programs as solid, as well-established, and for all our students, no matter it's high achievement students or the students we want to bring them up. Thank you.
And Rosa?
Governing board members have collective authority to make decisions. Board members must act collectively and openly and be guided by students' best interest and legal mandates and our resources and interest of the entire district community. And we are also informed by recommendation of the superintendent and our professional staff members. So I can say three things, which is very important for board members. So number one, working together with the board and district administrators. Number two, communication with the broader community members. Number three, keep researching and understanding the needs and resources that district have. So collaboration is the key for board members. So I will work on to collaborate with our board members, the other board members, and also our community. Thank you.
Naomi?
Thank you. So I am very mission-driven, and I feel that the role of the school board member is to ensure that the mission of the organization is met. Along with that, our role is in governance. It is to be able to engage with the community, but we work at the higher level in policy making. We have certain responsibilities, such as fiduciary, ensuring that programs, whether it's academic, sports, music, etc., are of high standards, and we look at policy. We are accountable, as I said, to our students and our teachers and our staff and our community, and I see our role as a bridge to the community or as a cultural broker, so that many people in our community sometimes don't understand the role of public schools here in the United States, and so to be able to bridge that understanding. But on the other side, sometimes we don't understand different cultures and the systems that many of our students come from. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question. What do you see as the priority issues to address as a school board member. And we'll start with Stanley.
Could you repeat the question, please?
What do you see as the priority issues to address as a school board member? Stanley.
Thank you. I see the priority issue in our school district is the student enrollment dropping. And we are seeing that our capacity is lower and lower. To maintain our excellent and well-established school programs, we need to make sure our student numbers is reaching the capacity that so we can maintain all our programs established. In that way, so students can have their interest to taking their programs, and instead of shrinking our excellent programs established in the school district. And also, in that way, we can maintain our excellent teachers in our school district, and that's very important to our school district. Thank you.
Rosa?
Decline in enrollment is a big issue in the district. All 5 high schools are continuing to see a decline in enrollment, which is projected to continue for the next several years. The difference between the smallest school and largest school is projected to around 900 students by 2026. So balanced enrollment among schools is very important. And we created the Citizens Advisory Committee and to address this current enrollment issue. And then we are looking for the recommendation by the Citizens Advisory Committee for the possible solution. And number 2 issue is achievement gap between student groups is improving slowly, but that is what all of our high schools continue to work on it. The equity issue is addressed a lot, and we have a way to measure and evaluate the efficacy of our policies, and we'll need to continue to see this aggregated data, I believe.
Thank you. Naomi, and please get closer to your mic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the 3 priority issues that I would like to address is, as the others have said, declining enrollment. From the time that I was elected 4 years ago, our enrollment went from 11,000 to 10,000. And how I see that we can have some impact with that is really building partnerships out in the community. I've been talking to other different city leaders about new developments in Sunnyvale and how we can make sure that these developments are not just 1 bedrooms, but 2 or 3 bedrooms. The other priority area is social emotional learning. We know that many students are having a very difficult time, even before the pandemic. Just this week, I heard of about 8 students and some of the concerns that this particular teacher had. The last priority is staff and teacher retention and recruitment. We have some of the best teachers and staff in the country. I'd like to keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda?
Thank you. I do believe, too, that declining enrollment is an issue, and I feel that it is a concerted effort between the family and the schools to work together. There should be transparency and open communication for the students' health and well-being, along with the parents' health and well-being, for that matter. I believe that that could help with the enrollment. I support excellent academic curriculum and standards. I want the students to get the education that provides the best opportunities available for them. I also think that providing and supporting genuine diversity of thoughts and background and cultures taught in a way that is respectful and understanding so that people walk away with a clear appreciation is important, and safety at schools is another issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Stanley. Andrew?
As a coach, I would say the most important thing on a team is morale. And I don't think it's any different in a school district or at a high school. So for me, it's all about morale. How is the morale in the school? Learning should be fun and rewarding with lots of great incentives. I just want to inject there that I think it's like on a great team. When you have a great team, people want to be on your team. If you don't have a great team, they don't want to be on your team, and they'll go somewhere else. And I think it's the same way with this district. Yes, there is the cost of living, that's an issue. But people will be banging at our door to get in here if we have better morale and have a great winning attitude across the board and helping the kids to reach their full potentials. That's what every parent wants, to have their kid have a great experience, make wonderful memories for a lifetime, and be able to move on to the next level, which is college. Thank you.
Our next question. What is really great, excuse me, what is really great about Fremont Union High School District? What makes you proud? Let's start with Stanley. Andrew.
Oh, what's the greatest thing about it? I graduated from here. I'm going to say that the greatest thing right now, at this moment, is when I found out a couple of weeks ago that Graham Clark was the new superintendent. I had the opportunity to work with him for 12 years. He's an amazing man, and I'm so thankful that he got that position. And I think he's going to be a great man to work with at this level as well. And so it's really important. Leaders set the pace. And it's very important that they're leading us in the right direction and that they care. If they don't care, they might as well get a ticket and leave town. And I care, and I know Graham cares. If your kids don't understand that they care about you, they're not going to listen to anything you say, and they don't care anything about what you have to say. And so, Graham, I'm not trying to win brownie points with you, but that's how I feel.
Stanley.
The great thing of the Fremont Union High School District I see is we have a very high graduation rate. So far, we are reaching 96% of graduation rate. That's really a national ranking top level. But of course, there's still room we can accomplish. So I will, as a school board member, I will very proud that we can improve this number from 96 to upper higher. And that will be, say that, we want to focus on all our students' equity and their excellence of programs. Thank you.
Rosa?
Yes, I have 3 things. First, staff members. Because for the past 4 years as a school board member, every day I was inspired by our staff members. They're really thoughtful, and they work really rigorously for our students. So working with them was really a pleasure for me for the past 4 years. And number 2, and our capable students. Their leadership is really amazing in many ways. So they led a lot of, I can tell, the movement, including sustainability, and many of activities from our students. And number 3 is our diverse community. So I believe living in the Silicon Valley is such beneficial for our students. So we can utilize, we can maximize the benefit of having diverse communities and their input in our district, and that's what we are doing. So that is the wonderful thing we can do for our students. Thank you.
And Naomi.
Well, I'm very proud to serve as a trustee for the Fremont Union High School District Board. I have had many opportunities to meet with other school board members, not only in this county, but across the state, and I'm always bragging about how great we are. The things that I'm bragging about are that we have very good comprehensive high schools, and that we really look to our students to be able to look at college and career tech, and really emphasize that. We have, as someone said, high-achieving students. We have great teachers and staff, and we have a community that is very engaged and supportive of us. And I have some of the best administrators in the area. So thank you.
Linda?
Yeah, I've been in education for a number of years, as I had said before, and I've had students in my classes that were neither motivated nor prepared to meet the responsibilities and challenges that await them. And then conversely, I've had others who were driven to succeed. And it pleases me a lot to find out that a lot of those students who are driven to succeed are former Fremont Union High School students. So that's very, very heartwarming. And I think a lot of it has to do with the education they received in the prior 12 years. And I'm referring to the curriculum, the presentation, the teachers, and just how the information was presented with enthusiasm. And I think that has a lot to do with their future success. Also, the main reason why we moved to the area was because of the reputation of the schools. And I have 2 stepchildren who went through the system, and I think they really thrived as a result of it.
Okay, thank you. On the other hand, what does FUHSD need to work on to improve? We'll start Naomi on that one.
Well, as I've said before, we are a great district, and but I am always a believer that great can be better. And so one of the things that I would like to see us improve on is looking at ways that we can engage our communities better. We have very diverse communities, and not all are as involved as they can and should be. I also would like for us to look at better relationships and partnerships with Sunnyvale, which is a large part of our district. We have excellent relationships, I think, with Cupertino and the community here, but it's not as strong as I think I would like for it to be. And just for full disclosure, I am a Sunnyvale resident, and my children went through the Sunnyvale School District, and so I'd like to be able to see that happen. Thank you.
And Linda.
Thank you. I agree with you that we need to improve in our community relationships and get out and let people know about what Fremont Union High School District has to offer. The children go to the school and they come out and they're great. But still, I think the community involvement is very, very, very necessary. And Cupertino does have that. Sunnyvale doesn't. I'm a Sunnyvale resident, so I agree with you. And it's just the community engagement. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Andrew.
Well, I would say to make sure that every student in this district feels like they belong and they're needed and they have value. I know there's a lot of kids that come from great situations, they come from bad situations. But when they come to this school, or to one of our schools in this district, they need to feel like, hey, my teacher cares about me. Hey, my teacher loves me. Hey, the administration is acknowledging me and saying hi to me. They make me feel like I'm a part of this team, a part of this school. And I'm happy to be here. And I think we can do a lot better in that. We have a lot of kids that are hanging on by a thread. And sometimes they don't get the support at home they should have. But let's at least try to give it to them here while they're at school. Let's not just try. Let's make that a goal. Let's make that a priority. Every kid should feel like they belong. And that's up to the teachers, the principal, all the administration, and the school board. Every kid wants to feel like they're contributing. And when they don't feel like they're a part of it, only bad things happen. Thank you.
Stanley?
Yes, a candidate of the Fremont Union High School District Board member. And I'm looking for some issues. So since I decided to run for the position, and I attended all the board members' meeting if they are open to public. So since then, I already attended 4 full meetings, and I sit in the back and trying to learn. And I think I have 26 plus years of high-tech, one of the top high-tech company employee, engineer, and managers. I know we want to bring our high schools into 21st century level of technologies so that can support all students and support our teaching facilities. So to me, that one thing I can contribute to our school district is I can bring in my high-tech knowledge background. Thank you.
Rosa?
First, I would like to create more partnership with the feeder district and the cities. We do have here, the CUSD board members. The partnership with feeder district is very important since we need to understand the needs of our students and their past experience. Based on them, we need to create better practice for our students. And for cities, I specifically would like to work together to create more career development programs. With the city and the Chamber of Commerce, we can host a career fair, an internship fair, or job shadowing opportunities. It'll help our students have a motivation for study and develop their career plan, and then work on their career plans and dreams. And second, I would like to work on implementing more diverse voices of our students in our decision making. Students are the reason why we are working together. Creating a more diverse communication platform with students and implementing their ideas will be critical to make a better place for all of our students.
Thank you. Next, based on the wide diversity of FUHSD, their student body, there are more than 60 different languages spoken by the student body, and there are varying economic levels. How would you ensure addressing that diversity as a school board member?
Would you repeat that?
There's a wide diversity of Fremont Union High School District student body. More than 60 different languages are spoken at home. And there are varying economic levels. How would you ensure addressing that diversity as a school board member? And we'll start with Stanley.
Thank you. To address the diversity of the school, we have six. Our schools. I was a advocate for Chinese AP since College Board starting the Chinese AP program back almost 20 years ago. That I believe in a diversified community, we want to learn across cultures in between all the students and student bodies and communities. And I think learning one more additional language, understand one more cultures is beneficial for the students and the community to work together and also harmonize the students' future as a good citizen. Thank you.
Rosa?
Public school is a community school. Yes, you're right. We do have many diverse community members in our school community, and outreach is really important component, and understand their needs and concerns. Recently, I attended our Los Padres group, that is Spanish-speaking the parents group. We have a regular meeting for them. We do have about 16% of Spanish-speaking students in our district. And I attended the meeting and then talked with them. And then it was really wonderful to know their interest and their enthusiasm. They really want to be engaged in the school, and exchanging the ideas was really helpful for me to better understand their needs and concerns. That kind of, the specifically outreach to that each different the cultural group or our diverse community, that will be really foundation for making our diverse community, we can better serve to them.
Yeah, thank you. Naomi?
Yes, thank you. So diversity means a lot of different things to me. I grew up in Ogden, Utah, where there is very little diversity. And so for me, diversity also includes gender, economics, ethnic language, all of those different areas. And so one of the things that I would like to see is, yes, we live in a very diverse community, but we are also when you walk onto our campuses, they are not as integrated with our diversity that we have. And so I'd like to be able to look at different ways to do that. One way, I think, is with ethnic studies. And I am a strong proponent of ethnic studies, but it has to be done right and correctly and with the community buy-in and staff, teachers, and administrators. And so I would like to look at that. I really believe that schools build communities, and so sorry.
Thank you. Linda?
I had mentioned before that I embrace genuine diversity, and that is in thought, culture, ethnicity, everything. And to do that, part of it obviously is to teach it in a way that is all-encompassing and thought-provoking, where it is devoid of name-calling or anything else that's derogatory, but rather all-inclusive. And that also includes an engagement with the community. So there's outreach involved. Anytime you can bring a whole community together and understand the issues and the differences, you find that they tend to diminish, and as a result, there's better cooperation and collaboration among all. Thank you.
Andrew?
Surprise, I'm going to use another analogy of team sports. As a coach, when I'm coaching and on all the wonderful teams I've been on, there's only been unity. The championship, the good teams, unity. As an example, in this school district, there should only be Mustangs, Vikings, Firebirds, Pioneers, and Vikings, did I say? And Matadors running around. You wear those colors, that's what you are. You're a part of a team, you're part of this school, and those are the colors that we wear. This is the school that we support, this is the district that we support, and if we keep emphasizing the differences, it's only going to divide us. I have worked with kids from all nationalities, and I only see them as athletes, and I see them if they're hardworking or if they're not hardworking, if they have good attitudes or they don't have good attitudes. And, but if we keep emphasizing our differences, it's only going to make it worse. Let's emphasize what we have in common and make it work.
Thank you. And now we're going to go to the question that you were given to prepare for this forum, and that is, what question and response would you wish you had been asked during this forum? So what question would you have liked to have been asked, and what would have been your response? And you will have 90 seconds for this. And we will start with Andrew.
With me? Okay, thank you. The question I wish I would have been asked today would have been, who was your favorite mentor? Since we're in a school setting, and that's what it's all about, mentoring. My favorite mentor was Coach Don Ahern from High Junior High. Why was he a great mentor? Not just to me, but to all the kids, because he cared, he went the extra mile, he wasn't there just to pick up a paycheck, go through the motions, he didn't throw his hands up. He didn't use derogatory language. He didn't use words that were negative. It was always positive. You can. Where are you headed? I'm really, did anyone tell you this is how you can get to where you want to be? No, Coach, I never knew that. Oh, wow. It opens doors, imagination, possibilities. So I will be eternally thankful to Coach Don Ahern for all that he did for me and all the other kids, my friends and all the other students that were there. He helped to bring out the best in us by his words. Words are powerful. Just make sure that they're positive, they're encouraging, and that you're truly mentoring, and to listen. He was a good listener. And he always would say things like, have you thought about, and then he would fill in the blank. And then he would just leave it at that. And he would get you to think, and you'd be going, hey, I should give that a try. I wasn't going to go out for wrestling. And he says, why don't you think about it? And so I decided to go out, and I ended up being county champion. And And I'm so thankful that I went out because I had a great time. He was our coach, and I learned so many wonderful life lessons from him. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda?
Thank you. Okay, the question that I would have been I asked would be, what do you think sets you apart from the other candidates? And so my answer would be, I offer a unique blend of experience and education that my colleagues probably don't have, and that is I offered a two-prong approach because I have extensive experience in the business world, and I also have a lot of experience in education. And I think that those two avenues can bring about a good blend and a two-pronged approach to a lot of the issues and concerns that are facing the board. I see both sides of the coin, the business side and the education side. And that puts me in probably the best position to provide that type of insight. And every job that I've had and everything I've done has always brought me around to some phase of education. So I'm looking forward to working on the board to continue having our district being one of the best. So I would appreciate your vote, and I thank you very much for the opportunity. Bye.
Thank you. Naomi, how about you?
Thank you. I have about 4 questions, but I'll choose the one. And my question is one word that best describes you. And the word was used in the previous panel, but it's integrity. And for me, integrity is not about external factors that was talked about before about accountability. It's about internal accountability. And within the word integrity is another word called grit. And grit is something that I feel very proud of, that my parents taught me to work through adversity, to work very hard for what you believe in, what you have passion for, having compassion. And that is what guides me. And to me, integrity is something that is what guides you when no one else is looking. And so it is that internal, how do you act, how do you treat others when no one else knows or is watching you. And so I have this strong commitment to integrity, and I try to live that with every decision that I make and every action that I take. So thank you.
Thank you. Stanley?
Thank you. My question will be, what have you done for local public education during the COVID pandemic years? This is question especially for Rotary Club of Cupertino and the Chamber of Commerce. Especially I've been involving in the community as a leader and also a Taiwanese American Chamber of Commerce president. So I know there's a need and then we go forward. And during the pandemic years, and I learned that Fremont Union High School District and Cupertino Union High School District, they still supply the lunch meal for our needed student families. So through my connections, I donated 2,000 medical level masks made from Taiwan and flew from Taiwan and to both districts. And I believe contribution and return to the community is one of the things we need to do as a community leaders and also a member of community. So I was really proud of being doing that. And also I got an award from the Presidential Service Volunteer Service Award for doing past 20 years doing the community service. So I'm looking for your vote. And thank you for you being here and listen to us. Thank you.
Rosa?
My question is, why are you running for FUHSD board? So I have 3 answers. First, I have worked diligently for the past 4 years as your school board member to make a better school district for all students. This year, our current board has spent a lot of time and effort selecting the new superintendent and making a smooth transition. I'd like to continue the work for the district based on my experience as a board member with the new superintendent, Graham Clark. He is with us today. Secondly, I want to support under-resourced students and English learners with my volunteering experience. I have been helping under-resourced students as a certified college admission advisor and develop a much deeper understanding of their needs. I want to help the district to better support our students in need and guide them to have success at their high school life and beyond. Lastly, I would like to further strengthen our students' social and emotional wellness. After graduating from high school, they will be alone. They need to deal with their mental stress. So while they are in high school, we need to educate them how to deal with their mental stress and to have a really strong mental power. So I'd like to ensure our district can provide all the resources and help them to better understand and then have a good foundation for their mental health. Thank you.
Thank you so much for our Fremont Union High School District candidates. And I'd also like to thank again the CUSD candidates. So if you're in the audience, stand and we'll give you a big round of applause. And I believe the candidates will hang around after the forum so that you can chat with them. And we encourage you to visit our table out with the voting information. After all, we are the League of Women Voters. And I turn you back over to our host.
Thank you, Marianne. We hope that you found today's candidate forum informative. I do want to take this time to thank a few folks. Judy Wilson, thank Steve Rudd, our timer. I want to thank the Fund Committee who actually set up the room. The crew from KMVT. And I want to thank Marianne Shovlin for moderating today's forum. And I want to thank you, the audience, for participating in this forum. And finally, our school board candidates, I want to extend our best wishes to you in the upcoming November election. Thank you.